My name is Crystal. I'm a human trafficking survivor. I know that we need to close this border. It's very crucial at this point because we have terrorists coming through our borders. We're not safe. They say that so far there's been, which they really don't know because they just let them run through the border. So we really don't know. As high as 2.6 million immigrants or illegals, I would say, because, they're breaking the Constitution to come through and our government's allowing it. Our resources are being depleted. And at this point in time, our economy's fallen. Our GDP is at an all-time low. Inflation is sky high. Interest on people's mortgages are going through the roof, and we're bringing in illegals. I just don't understand it at this point in time. And it's not the point of bringing in illegals that bothers me. It's that we're not processing the good from the bad. We're just allowing anybody through our borders, and they're setting up shops to small towns across America, urban towns across America, and even metropolitan. Because they need the metropolitan, because then they have to relocate people out into the rural areas. So all of it really comes to play in this. People think that, this won't happen in my neighborhood, but it very well could. And many neighborhoods are finding this reality coming true. A lot of these human trafficking organizations and cartels are setting up shop into people's local neighborhoods. And it's like pretty much bringing in psychopaths into a town that has worked so hard of keeping it innocent and clean and safe. I mean, you wouldn't allow a pit bull in a cage of chihuahuas. I mean, that wouldn't make no sense. And that's basically what they're doing to us. They're allowing these horrific cartel, human trafficking, drug operations into small towns, urban areas, and metropolitan. And when it comes to getting help after they have allowed this mess, the resources are not there. The funding's not there. The programs have not been set up or even implemented at this point in time. So the survivors are running around like chickens, trying to find little pieces of breadcrumbs that are left of maybe go try this organization or go try this organization. And you keep calling these organizations and they keep on giving you another number, and you call that number and they give you another number. The resources are not here. They're being depleted at the border, and the border is wide open. It's just crazy. We need to secure our borders for our children, our grandchildren, and we need to process the people that really do need assistance. I agree. There probably are a lot of women and children that do need assistance. But from what I've seen at the borders, it seems like 8 out of every 10 is a male coming through in their 20s to 30s that are passing through the borders. It ain't really women and children. It's such a small little number. And if I seen a woman traveling that long with children at the border, it would have to be pretty serious of why she needed to cross the border. But most of the people crossing the border are men in their 20s and 30s. It's not women and children, and a lot of them are coming from countries like Haiti and Nigeria and all over. I mean, 181 countries, and it's wide open. And a lot of it's from the Middle East. That's what we have to worry about, is the people coming in from the Middle East. Not the other countries as much, but the Middle East, which are coming through and they're making threats. I mean, we've already had a September 11th. You would think that we would have learned. But I think that we haven't learned our lesson, because our borders are wide open. And so we have cartel, we have human traffickers, and now we got terrorists from the Middle East coming over and making threats. So this is a very serious issue. And I feel like we all just need to stand together. We don't need to go down there and pull another J6. But we do have a right, a constitutional right to protect our border. For them to say that we don't have a right, we have a right to protect our border from all foreign and domestic terrorists. And if our government is allowing our borders to be opened up and terrorists to come through, then they've already are committing treason at this point and not protecting the people that they sworn an oath to protect, which is us, the Americans. And as our trustees of the United States of America, and us being Americans, they have sworn a duty to uphold the Constitution, and they're failing. So we need to stand guard, bring in National Guard, bring in resources, and stand up to the border being wide open. It needs to be closed until someone has a better plan, because the plan that they have is not working. It's failing in a large way, and it's costing Americans their lives. Point blank, this is what's going on in the streets. My name is Crystal, and I hope that you guys stand for the border being closed until we're able to implement a better solution. Thank you, you guys. I appreciate it. This has been a stressful journey. I mean, I'm on the streets. I'm going from house to house, and the resources are not here. And this healing journey has been a hard one, because it's like half healing. It's like half healing, and when you go and you try to call these agencies and you reach out for help, it just brings up these debilitative emotions, and I'm landing into family that, you know, I'm not saying they human traffic me. I mean, I'm coming from human trafficking situation, and I'm landing into friends that don't even understand. They understand, but they don't. I mean, a lot of people just don't understand of what it's like to be human trafficked and to be gang stalked and to followed and to have your communication shut down, and they're hacking you, and, you know, you can't get help. And every time you try to share your story, you know, they crash your phone, and now you have to go get another one, and you're already financially having it hard, and it just keeps getting harder and harder. And I'm out here on a whim just trying to tell my story, that this is going on in the streets, and I'm in my 40s, and I can't imagine if I was 3 or 5. There's no way. I can't imagine, you know, I lived in an RV and I traveled, and I'm very resourceful, and I have survival skills, and I just cannot imagine children that are being trafficked. We're sending them out to places we don't even know. I mean, this is horrible. We're not even scanning the people that are taking these children that are, they call them, what is the name? A sponsor. They're sponsors. Hold on. And we need to really take better, we need to do better by the children. I mean, we just can't be just giving them to anybody. I mean, you wouldn't give your kids to just anybody. If there was a time of need and you had to just go give your kid, you wouldn't just pick somebody off the street and be like, hey, I have an emergency, will you take my kid? I'll call you in a few months and work it out. It just sounds insane. And we don't even know, are these people all right to take these children? How's the home? I mean, just the way that things are being done is not safe for the children, not safe for the women. It's not safe for anybody at this point. It's another thing that I'm seeing. It's just, we got to close the border, you guys. This is a very serious thing. I can't stress this enough. If I had a vehicle right now, I would be at the border. I would be reporting this live at the border. I would be standing 10 toes in at the border. I'm not even joking when I say this. Things just haven't turned out the way I thought. You know, I tried to buy a car, get it fixed. It just didn't work when I first got here. It's been one obstacle after another, after another, after another, after another, after another, after another. It's just, all I have is this phone and my voice, and hoping that somebody in America, I can't be the only one that feels this or sees this. And I know a lot of people think, wow, they're going to hear this story and they're going to think, well, not my family. And I thought the same thing. College educated, you know, no way would I have ever seen myself in this situation. And it's happening. And these people are clever, well orchestrated, well planned. They've been running these schemes and knowing how to set up shop quick, fast, and in a hurry for years. And we're allowing them into our small little hometowns to where people are being snatched. Even in my small little hometown of only a couple thousand, this summer, a girl that was traveling, she was a journalist, she came up missing here. We haven't even seen her or found her body. They found her car. This stuff happens all the time, and nobody is reporting about all the missing girls that are coming up missing. Where are they? I mean, where are they? They're just gone. They just vanish. And people don't want to, they just think, oh, it's just someone missing, but they're not linking the pieces together. These people have probably been hunted down, targeted, because they were probably reporting on something that they shouldn't have been. You got a lot of these satanic occultists, and people think, oh, that doesn't exist. Well, yes, it does. First-hand experience, yes, it does. It happens. A lot of that is tied into cartel. Most definitely is. Cartel, human trafficking, satanic occultism, and ritual abuse. And, well, we have to stop this and acknowledge it. I mean, if we don't acknowledge that we have a problem, then how can we fix it? And this is where people are not acknowledging it. And this is happening. I mean, I'll tell a story. This is crazy. This was 2007, and I was in my 20s, mid-20s. Me, my aunt, and my cousin, we all took a trip down to Manhattan. It was like a 5-day getaway. And we shopped and we ate and we shopped and we ate. And we ended up going down into Chinatown. And this guy was selling purses, like, you know, those bootleg vendors. Well, he's like, I got purses, and I didn't want anything, but I didn't see anything I liked. And he says, well, I have more back at my shop. I said, okay. Me, my aunt, my cousin, and I think there was like another couple. So we all go. So we head down this alley. I know it sounds crazy. And then we make a hard right. And then we go and we're walking through these alleyways, and we come into a building, and inside this like 4-story building, we go into this building and we go into this elevator, but he had this key and it had these bars that opened on the elevator. So, and I thought, oh my God, it was kind of weird. But me, my aunt, my cousin, we all went in, which was pretty crazy when you think about it now. Shows you how much we didn't know of what was going on. We go up onto like the 3rd floor. We get out of the elevator. We walk down the hall. He opens up another door that has like these metal things that pull apart from each side. He unlocks it with a key. He opens it up, and as he opens up this door, I see like probably like 20 Chinese ladies on sewing machines. And I thought, wow. And then we go over to the left side. He had this room and had all these purses hanging in there, all types of purses. And I hate to say it, it was like a knockoff, I want to say it was like a knockoff Prada. I think that's what I had, a knockoff Prada. It had a huge zipper on it. It was pretty cool. But they were like bootlegging this stuff in like a warehouse. I know, this probably sounds pretty horrible. I didn't even know what was going on. Here I am in the middle of the situation. I know I'm getting a cheap purse for like, you know, $40 or whatever it was. It's pretty cheap. And I get my purse and we leave out of there. He escorts us back down, you know, locks everything up just how we went in. And I end up back at the street, and that was the end of that. It wasn't until I ended up taking an anthropology class at West University, West Georgia, Um, it was called China Into the Blue. My anthropology teacher had us watch this documentary. It was called China Into the Blue. And that's when I realized that them working on sewing machines was human trafficking. I was watching it. I was like, oh my God, I didn't even realize. It was like a connection. I was like, whoa. Then, well, years go by, and I just thought, wow, it was always in the back of my head. Like, I didn't even know that I was a part of something like that, you know, by not even knowing, just by stupidity and ignorance. But I think it's hard to see things like that, because what we're told is it's like Asians, or, you know, that's what I was told in school. It was like other foreign countries this stuff was happening to. And it turns out this stuff is happening to Americans. This is what is so crazy. I mean, I thought this was like happening to other people in different parts of the world. I didn't think that this was happening in America, that we were being slaved, indentured servants. I didn't think that. See, this is where, and that's why I have to share this. It's like, and everything I went through in Chickaluna, Alaska, of heavy workload, heavy logging, heavy work, a brick, you know, cement, building roads, laying down infrastructure, you know, heavy work, indentured servant. But you don't see it because you're an American. You don't think that this stuff happens to us, but it is. It's happening to us. It's been happening to us. We just have not made the connections to know that even in America, we have been slaved. There's a lot of people being enslaved right now. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm on the street, so I got people that are driving past as I'm trying to tell you guys this. Yeah, so that's some of the stuff that I think, and when I was in human trafficking, just trying to speak up and get out of that situation, that's when they pulled out the poison, because I was starting to make a connect. This wasn't right. It was like, wait a minute, I don't mind helping during an emergency to save your river from flooding. That's an emergency. But when it came to building infrastructure and the 20 acres and developing their land and stuff like that, this is when I started to stick up for myself, and this is when I found myself into a major situation. It was already getting bad before this, and with surveillance and being restricted and being controlled and being handled. But then it really picked up is when I stood strong and found my voice and was like, no, I'm tired of working 16-hour days. I can't see my kids, you know, like this is a bad situation, and I'm being poisoned, and I'm sick all the time, and I can't make the connection why. And then I finally do. At the very end, it was already at that point too late. It went from a light dosage to a heavy dosage. So this is what's happening in America. I mean, I barely made it out of that situation, lost my son. And people, they don't believe that this stuff happens in America. Like, you know, like, we stand for liberty and freedom and everything just in this world. We are the pillar of all of that. And then when you find out that this stuff is happening in America, it kind of shakes your belief system to think, you know, and I think what was even worse on me is when I called out to reach out for help to these agencies like the FBI, Homeland Security, Department of Justice. When I realized that FBI wasn't doing anything, Homeland Security wasn't doing anything, so then I reach out to the DOJ, and it's just like nothing out of all three. I mean, that's when I knew that this was screwed up at this point. When you know, in fact, that there's human trafficking going on, not a tip, but this is happening, and there's no help. There's no help. Now, I'm not saying all of the FBI is this way, and I'm not saying all of the Department of Justice is this way, and I'm not saying all of, you know, Department of Homeland Security is this way. That is not true. But do we have rogue agents? Yes, 100% we do. To say that the whole entire organization is squeaky clean and we don't have no rogue agents is just insanity. That's like saying that the churches don't have no creepy perverts, and that the schools don't have, you know, teachers raping children and, essaying them, it's just crazy. It's just crazy to even to think that it is happening, So instead of to act like it doesn't exist, what we need to do is figure out where the problems are lying in the organization and fix it. The whole organization's not bad. All of Department of Homeland Security is not bad. All of the Federal Bureau of Investigation is not bad. The military's not bad. I've heard stories of the military coming in to save people from human trafficking. You have no idea. The majority of our military stands 10 toes and does not like what's going on. But do we have a few corrupt people in our military? Of course we do. Now, this is where the problems are lying, and this is where we need to have people stand up and hold these people accountable. And they need to be held accountable for their actions because they swore an oath of office to protect us. And the office administration needs to be cleaned up. If people are corrupt into these institutions, they need to be dealt with through the judicial system. And we need to get people that have a moral compass back into our government and to stand up for what's right and to hold them accountable because they swore an oath to protect us. That's their job. That's why they're a public servant, because they're serving our best interest for us. That is their job. While we're out working labor, paying taxes, their job is to make sure that the economy, our borders, and everything is taken care of. So I'm calling for government to do another reorganization of our FBI, or DOJ, and our Homeland Security. This is very stressful. It really is. It's just been heavy on my heart, heavy in my mind. I know that there's so many good people out there, though. I've met so many good military and people that have shaken my hand and they give me hugs, and I know that there's some good FBI and there's good CIA and there's good DOJ. There is. When they signed up for the job, they signed up to do what was right for the people and to help. And they're basically like, they're like shepherds protecting us and knights. A shepherd protecting the flock and the knights standing guard. This is their job. And I know so many that's what they wanted to do from a little kid, and they, maybe their hands are tied too, to where they can't, do anything because of the higher ups. And I think that's really where the problems are lying. It ain't the lower level agents that are going out in the field. It's the upper agents that are not doing what they should, and this is management. So in these facilities, in the FBI, because, each one has a state headquarters and local branches. So this is where I think the problems are lying. And I know it's hard for FBI, DOJ, and Homeland Security to facilitate, and they're really counting on the managers in those branches to do their job. So I think that's why we need to have another reevaluation of management positions in these governmental jobs. You guys, I'm praying for our country. If I had a vehicle and a transportation, I would be at the border right now. I would stand 10 toes in. I promise I would. I'm hoping that everybody is going to stand for the children, women, the vets, and Americans. I mean, this is everybody at this point. This is everybody. This really ain't just about one group or another. It's about really Americans and keeping us all safe. We've worked so hard for so many years to make America great, to keep us safe, to keep us not a third world country, and we're watching it fall apart. So we all just need to stand up because it's not too late. There's still great people out here that are willing to go 10 toes in And there's a lot of good people that have so many brilliant ideas of how to make this work. And it takes a whole village to do this. It ain't just one. It ain't just a me, and it ain't just you. It's a we, because we are Americans and we stand together. Thank you, you guys, and you have a wonderful, blessed day. And I hope we can just pull together for America and for our children and for our rights and our beliefs and our values. You guys have a blessed day.